Hello, Bullpups. Welcome to the last day of Real Plants vs. Zombies. If we take a look at our bracket, we have Zombie Snail and Zombie Fungus dominating the bracket so far. Giant Pitcher Plant versus Emerald Cockroach Wasp. The results are not quite in yet. We haven't finished tallying all of them. But today you're going to hear about the Spaghetti Monster versus Pimpernow Sundew. Sounds like a fancy name, right? Mrs. Shank, formerly known as Miss Mowry, is going to share with you some information about the Spaghetti Monster. And for time's sake, I might be fast-forwarding a little bit, but let's hear what she has to say about it.
Hi, Bullpups. This is Mrs. Shank, and I am going to talk to you about the creepiest creature that you will see this week. It's white, it's weird, and it looks like a bowl of noodles turned upside down underwater. What is it, you ask? It's the flying spaghetti monster. Actually, the bizarre-looking creature, is Bathyphysa conifer, a deep-sea creature that was recently seen swimming off the coast of Angola. Workers at the oil and gas company BP videotaped this strange-looking animal while collecting video footage some 4,000 feet under the sea with a remotely operated underwater vehicle.
I'm just going to head up to right about here. That gives us more information about it.
Fascinating creatures. An associate professor of ecology and evolutionary biology at Brown University is the one that has created the site about them. If you look at them, they're super creepy, and they have lots of parts to them. Similar to the corals, the spaghetti-like bee conifer is made up of different multicellular organisms known as zooids. These organisms are a lot like regular solitary animals, except they're attached to other zooids, forming a complex organism, a creepy one. One zooid developed from a fertilized egg starts the process, and then the other zooid buds from the original zooid, or the fertilized egg starts the process, and then the other zooid buds from the original zooid until a whole animal is formed. There's a cool video on here that really shows it moving, which gives it even a creepier effect. Each zooid has a job to do. In the case of bee conifers, some of the constituent zooids specialize in catching food and eating it, while others specialize in reproducing. The ones that can't feed don't feed, and the zooids that can't reproduce don't reproduce, but altogether the zooids survive just fine. The deep-sea spaghetti monster is a particular kind of siphonophore. If you look at it, it's been described. It says, while several bee conifer specimens have been described, researchers don't often see these creatures in their native habitats. If you look at them, they have these arm-like appendages poking through bee conifers' massive spaghetti, or the feeding polyps that the creature uses to catch the food. But it's the animal's long tentacles, the stringy things that look more like angel hair pasta than linguine, that helped researchers identify the creature as bee conifer, according to the Serpent Project. This project is part of the National Oceanography Center and is also the group responsible for identifying the siphonophores in the BP's footage. The tentacles are missing what the serpent researchers called side branches, which means that the spaghetti monster is most likely the side branchless bee conifer. In addition to its many other strange parts, the critter also has ptera, or wings, which are located on top of the animal near the bulbous. So it's at the very top. That part does not catch the food. And it's noted that the wings might be used to help the animal move through the water. I'm hoping that Mrs. Bailey shows you this really cool up-close picture, but they look totally creepy. And that is something that I would not want to run into when I'm in the water.
Okay, so let's take a look at it. So this is what it looks like. Isn't that crazy? So the bulbous area she's talking about is up here. It's almost got wings coming out to the side and then those angel hair pasta type tentacles coming off of it. So the reason why Spaghetti Monster was included in this bracket was because it's more like a real Frankenstein. It's just, as Mrs. Shank said, it's all these different parts of animals put together. So like I said, it's just all these different parts, so it's more like Frankenstein than necessarily zombie, but it still deserves a spot in our crazy creature bracket. And like she said, it's made up of all these different organisms or zooids, and it just looks like this giant blob of spaghetti, and it's kind of crazy because part of it eats and part of it just makes more of itself. So it's just a really goofy creature, and it's definitely something that you maybe don't want to bump into. So isn't it just odd? It's a strange looking thing. We are just full of weird creatures this week, aren't we? All right, so now Miss McQuillan is going to share with you the Pimpernow Sundew, which is also a very interesting critter or plant.
Hi guys, Miss McQuillan here. I'm here to read to you guys about a really cool plant, and this plant is called a sundew. The sundew is super special because it is only found in southern Australia. And in Australia, you will only see it during the winter time, which isn't very long in Australia, guys. So in the winter time in Australia, it's only from June to August. And does anyone want to take a guess at their temperature for their winter? It's not like ours. Their winter, it's 81 degrees. How crazy is that? So the sundew is extremely interesting and fascinating because of its short lifespan. The sundew is also so cool because its leaves it's decked out with tentacles, which are kind of like teeth. And in this, those tentacles have this sticky mucus. Ew. But it's super amazing because that's what helps the sundew get its food and get its nutrients so it can grow. Now, sundews don't grow very big, but it's important for them to still eat because you have to eat to live, right? So their leaves are decked out with tentacles that are covered in mucus, and the mucus is what keeps the bugs to stick. But do you want to know what's super, super interesting about the sundew plant? Well, let me tell you. The sundew plant is extremely interesting because once a bug touches the tentacle and the bug starts struggling to get loose, that tentacle, so all the little tentacles that the plant has, can move. How crazy is that? So the leaves can move any direction. They move inwards and backwards to try and capture the insects that they eat. Mind-blowing, right? So as the insects struggle, the tentacles bend inwards and the leaves roll up, capturing the insect or the bug, determining their fate. Whoa. So cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning about the awesome sundew plant and have a great day. Bye.
Okay, so let's take a look at a picture of one of these things. Thanks, Miss McQuillan. So that is what a Pimpernow Sundew looks like. Kind of crazy, right? The tentacles coming off of there. There you see that. It is a carnivorous plant eating bugs, just like Miss McQuillan told us. It has the tentacles, and as she mentioned, it oozes that sticky mucilage, they call it, which is just like snot or boogers. That's gross. Ew. So, like I said, the world is just full of crazy wild creatures, and we hope you enjoyed learning about a few this week. Make sure that you vote using the links provided. Or you can email your vote to me if you'd wish. We will be posting the final bracket winners shortly in order to determine the final winner. So here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to determine between these two and these two over here. The teachers are going to decide between who will be the final two, and then we'll have you guys vote for our students vote for the final winner. So be looking for the final bracket that will be coming out on Friday. Thank you for joining us this week. Hope that you learned something new. Have a good weekend.